When the Blues go marching in. Wow, what a great song. The Minnesota Fighting Saints also use that song when they would hit the ice when the Saints go marching in. I'm Rich Ellis, Spirit of the Game, and I'm here to present to you my research on the St. Louis Blues game wear jersey history from 1967, 68 to 70, 71. Um, I like to uh, say that I'm friends with Ken Sobel and Bill Byron and Doug Reisinger and uh, many St. Louis collectors, and um, this is in no disrespect to them. Um, we're living in a day and age now where more information's coming out, more stuff's getting uploaded to the internet, uh, even more so than 8 years ago. There's more stuff coming out, and I think you need to. Uh, everyone needs this on this research. Everyone needs to keep an open mind and all this new stuff that's coming out. And be able to extract all that information together and put it together. Also, this is a lot of fun for me during this COVID-19 crisis to make a video and go over the information. Um, Key points I'm going to touch on through this video. One, um, a lot of major auction houses, gamer jersey dealers, and authenticators have authenticated in the recent years um, that the St. Louis Blues did wear Wilson jerseys. Um, to note, Barry Mizell authenticated one from My Gray. Mark Juteau from Classic Auctions had the Red Berenson collection. He authenticated them. Spivak and Kraut from GamerAuctions.net. They've authenticated a couple. Um, some of them have been, some jerseys have been misauthenticated and then turned up later, um, re-authenticated. Um, there's not an infinite amount of information, like I said, but as time goes on, more information is coming out, more photos are coming out from photographers that are releasing their studio collections. Um, and I've tried to put together as much of that together, and I'll present it here in this video. So what I'm going to do is go through um, hard evidence of photos, um, the studio shots that they took, promotion shots, team photos, action shots, and then we'll go into photos of actual jerseys that I've collected through the years from dealers, auction houses, collectors that have sent them to me, and we'll put them all in it together. It is to note that, and Milt and a lot of gamer jerseys will tell you that um, uh, jerseys from the NHL are in much, even going back to the vintage era. And this is the vintage era for me. This is 67, 68, totally vintage. Um, there's a lot more abundance of NHL jerseys out there than there are of minor league shirts. It's always been the case, especially through the 60s, 70s, even into the early 80s. They didn't really start becoming in abundance until around the mid 80s. Um, Minor league jerseys just didn't command big dollars, and nobody really wanted them. So a lot of them got tossed um, or lost to time. There's always been more NHL jerseys because that's what collectors wanted. That's what commanded the more dollars. and that's the more that you see in the hobby are NHL shirts. Um, so let's go into the 67-68 season. We'll look at their um, photos from uh, that first regular season, and then we'll look at photos from the Stanley Cup playoffs and Stanley Cup finals because they did switch uniforms going into the 67-68 playoffs and the Stanley Cup finals. Now I'm over here in this corner. This background photo here is from Gary Culpert, a St. Louis collector who visited I believe, a St. Louis museum, and I thought it was a great photo to use as a background. You can see some of the different styles here in the background area. Okay, on to the jerseys here. This is Noel Picard. First set. It's got the block cut shoulders. The hem, these are Rawlings. The hems, the white bottom hem, the white is pretty much the same as in the top. And this jersey was later sold through Classic Auctions, which we'll show you later. This is Jim Roberts. Basically, right now we're establishing first set 67-68 jerseys were block cut shoulders by Rawlings. It's a block cut shoulder there. This is the team photo. I believe this team photo, as you can see, it's in the arena and the ice is out. You can see this. This is concrete base back here, and they had to put some type of padding down for the skates for the players to come out. I believe this was taken uh, either after the finals or just before the playoffs, and maybe they were putting in new ice for the playoffs. But you can tell, so this is Noel Picard, and his all the A's and C's are in different locations. Let's see, where's the other A? There's the A here. That's Jim Roberts. That's Al Arbour, Red Berenson, and Noel Picard. The A's and C's are right over the tip of the wing of the logo, every single one of them. So let's make note of that because during the regular season, as you can see in this jersey here, which was again authenticated and sold by Classic Auctions, the A was way over here and on the same level as the logo. So these would be Wilson's. Block cut shoulders. This is, I believe, one of the very first games played by the St. Louis Blues. This was a shot of them against the North Stars. This is Bill Masterton. So this is before December for sure, and the date on the top is October 11th, 1967 in St. Louis Arena by Getty Images. You can see Seth Martin here in net, block cut shoulders. We'll zoom in a little bit. There we go. Block cut shoulders right there. You can see them. And you can see this is a Rawlings. There's a Rawlings tag right there. The hem had flipped up. And this is the washing instruction tag right there. There is no Giesler Jorgen tag in the middle. This is a shot, I believe, from opening night. There's Seth Martin again. Just note that this is Seth Martin in a blue jersey with a block cut shoulder. There's Glenn Hall. This is when they were announcing the players that come out on the ice, I believe. Okay, now we'll go to the jerseys from that set. This jersey here, in 2018, Mark Chouteau got the Red Berenson collection, and this was one of the jerseys that Red Berenson consigned with Mark Chouteau. This is the regular season set Rawlings. Note the different striping, where on the sleeves and the hem goes blue, gold, blue. Very unique, only worn during the regular season, 67, 68. And note again, here's the hem of that jersey, inside bottom hem. Rawlings, old Rawlings tag with the silver. Washing instructions, no Giesler Jorgen tag in the middle, just a note. Here's the front of it. So the tagging would be over here, and there's nothing in the collar. Okay, block cut shoulders again. Here is the Noel Picard jersey that Classic Auctions had. Here's Classic Auctions down here. And here's the A. Notice that the A doesn't have the feet like in that team photo, okay? And it's way over here. It's not above. And Mark authenticated as a regular season shirt, which was correct. And here's the hem striping. The hem striping, the bottom is almost the same as the top. It's really dang close. This is a Terry Crisp. Again, block cut shoulders. Number 19. Rawlings, first set. Again, bottom hem, pretty close to the same as the top. That's another angle of Terry Crisp. Here's the tagging in the Terry Crisp. Again, note Rawlings, washing instructions. These are from Rawlings. And no Giesler Jorgen tag in the middle. This is a jersey that was sold by Heritage Auctions. This is a Roberts. Note, if you look here in the sleeves, that it was widened by the St. Louis Blues equipment staff. If you've never held one of these jerseys in your hands, these Rawlings jerseys from the regular season 67, 68 were really tight. They were super tight on the arm, and they were actually quite long. They were pretty long, very tight. I believe this is one of the reasons why they switched to Wilson's, because remember, this is 67, 68. Before 67, 68, no team was wearing a Rawlings jersey. They were either General Athletic Dreams or Wilson jerseys, and the Montreal Canadiens were still wearing Wolves. So Rawlings was just starting to get into the hockey jerseys during the 67-68 season. So there was a lot of experimentation. And I believe Rawlings didn't nail it on this first set. There's the front. There's the tagging. Again, no Giesler Jorgen tag in the middle. This is, I got better shots of this. This is the Seth Martin. This was, I don't know who originally sold it, but when it was sold, it was authenticated as a 68-69 possible Jacques Plante. It is not, because they only wore round shoulders with numbers going over the top of the shoulder seam. This is not. This is a block cut shoulder, which is only indicative of the 67-68 regular season. You can also tell the seamstresses at Rawlings were not quite sure what to do, because they sewed the washing instruction tags and the Rawlings tags with navy blue thread, which could be seen through the back of the jersey. That is a seamstress error. There's the front shot. Here you can see the basic block cut shoulder of Rawlings. And there's the tagging in the hem. You can see the kind of a darker blue they used for thread. It should have been on the gold. Later, a lot of the other jerseys were gold, and they sewed it into the gold striping so it would look uniform. You wouldn't be able to see it from the back. All right, let's go to the 68-69 season. Oh no, let's go to the 67-68 finals. Okay. This photo here, um, I was able to, when you watch a video on YouTube, um, you can hit print screen and be able to pull a nice still shot out of the video. So this is footage from a YouTube video where the Blues are walking out of the tunnel at the Montreal Forum in their white jerseys, and you can see their block cut shoulders, numbers on the sleeves, and how the A now sits above. This is Jim Roberts. You can see the A now sits above the Rawlings tip. You can also see, this is a Getty image, that the striping's changed in the finals. Okay, block cut shoulder, very well seen right there. So the striping on the hems and the sleeves changed on the white shirts, and they have numbers. Here's a good shot, Montreal against Montreal Canadiens. Glenn Hall on net. Total block cut shoulder. Try to say that 10 times. Um, different striping on the sleeve and on the hem. Numbers on the sleeves. Now we'll go to some of the jerseys. Okay, so Mark Chouteau in 2018 gets the Red Barons collection. We already showed the white one that he sold. That was regular season. Brad Berenson also had his blue jersey. Now the blue jerseys during the finals and the playoffs, the white bottom hem is longer. The block cut shoulder, okay, but these are made by Wilson with a Giesler Jorgen tag below it. Mark even goes into here saying there's also evidence of an A removal. It is the first ever 68 Blues final jersey ever to be offered at auction, and it is signed with an LOI from Red Berenson accompanying the jersey. So Red Berenson, it's just like a lot of players that go to the Stanley Cup Finals and they take their shirt and they tuck it in their uh, their equipment bag, come home with it, save it. I believe that's exactly what happened here with Red Berenson. Here's better shots of the Berenson jersey. Wilson tag up top, as you can tell, with the Giesler Jorgen tag is below. You can see the hem, block at shoulders. There's the tagging. Note that the Wilson tag is not sewn. This isn't embroidered. This is an older Wilson tag. That's the screened on Wilson tag. The Giesler Jorgen tag is all embroidered. The little players are embroidered. It's a very intricate little logo. Also note the dancing players, the football player and the basketball player over here. Because the Giesler Jorgen tag changes and gets more simpler as time went on. Here's the back shot of that Red Berenson jersey. Now, back in 2016, I was contacted by Sid Sullivan, the third, I believe it was the third, or juniors, I guess they could call him. And he had two jerseys that plus some gloves. He had a Glenn Hall stick. He had a bunch of stuff that he wanted to sell. And he contacted me via phone, and I said, send me some photos. So these are photos that he took with his phone and sent to me by instant messenger. So these came over my phone. This is a number 4. Noel Picard. Note, the assistant captain's A is right over the tip of the St. Louis Blues blue note. Here's the back of it, block cut shoulder. The different striping that was worn in the playoffs and the finals. Here's a shot of the shoulder again with the sleeve. And this is the Noel Picard Wilson tag, same as the Red Berenson. It's not the best shot in the world, but you can tell that it's not, it's screened on, it's not embroidered, and there's a Geisler Jorgen tag. He also had a number 11. This was Wayne Rivers. Rivers does not play during the regular, or does not play during the playoffs or the Stanley Cup Finals, but he did play as a mixture of games during the regular season. But these jerseys were also recycled for preseasons in past years, and I'll show you that later. And you can also notice the bottom. Sid told me that the bottom of the jersey was hemmed up, so they tucked in the bottom white and hemmed it up. This jersey has the Wilson tag in it. The Geisler, he sent me the Geisler Jorgen and Wilson tag closer up, and you can see that there's the blue threading. The Geisler Jorgen tag was there, and it had fallen out. Again, not the best photo, but you can tell it was made in case Wayne Rivers was going to play. It was made for him for the playoffs and the finals. The Red Berenson again. This is a Larry Keenan that was sold in Heritage Auctions. Now, I had got this jersey sent to me by Heritage Auctions in 2008. Okay. Now, it was told to me by Doug Reiser, and Milt was there with me. We were at a show, and because these don't come out very often, they're very rare. And the question came up: how can you tell the difference of these jerseys between Kansas City Blues jerseys? And Doug told me that Rawlings had a contract with the St. Louis Blues to only wear Rawlings jerseys from 67, 68 till the Sandow era. And so almost everybody took it verbatim, but I don't believe anybody fully hard researched it. And so when I got this jersey, this was the first one that came across my table in '08. And I just, because there wasn't much out there, I just took it verbatim, what I was told at a show by my friends, that this was Kansas City Blues. So I authenticated incorrectly. This is a Stanley Cup Finals Larry Keenan. This is not a Kansas City Blues. These photos were taken by me. There's the back. There's the front. Again, there's the hem, different white, block cut shoulders, Wilson tag Geisler Jorgen in it. There it is, same type of Wilson tagging that were in the other jerseys that I just showed you. And here's a shot from Heritage Auctions. So Heritage Auctions sold it as a Kansas City Blues because that's what I authenticated, right? Now we'll go to the 68-69 season. 68-69 season, things change. They stay with the Wilson jerseys. They go to round shoulders. And at some point, when they got the jerseys, the blue ones, then they play the Montreal Canadiens again during the finals. I don't know if this is a Stanley Cup shot or not, final shot. But you note all the blue jerseys don't have numbers on the sleeves. But at some point, shortly after they received these jerseys, they did put numbers on these blue jerseys, but not on the white jerseys. White jerseys, they left the numbers off the sleeves, but they're all round cut shoulders. Here's the blues and the white jerseys with the round shoulders. Glenn Hall, that's Al Arbour. This is Jacques Plante. As you can see, round shoulder. No number. Okay. Plante and Hall win the Vezina in 1968-69 season. You could tell that the white hem's deeper, longer, rounded shoulders with numbers sewed right over the top of the shoulder seam. You can see this clearly, see this in these photos. Rawlings never did that. Rawlings never made a hockey jersey like this. Only Wilson. This is, as you could say, the catalyst that proves that these aren't Rawlings and these are Wilson jerseys. And you can see Hall and Plante. Now, if Rawlings did make these, there's never has one ever surfaced. Never has one ever surfaced as Rawlings like this. These are only Wilsons because only the Wilson jerseys have surfaced. There's another shot, one of the Plagers, as you can see, rounded shoulders, comes down like this, numbers sewn right over the top. Once again, only Wilson did this, Rawlings did not. Here's Plante, not Plante, excuse me, Glenn Hall. You can see again right here, round shoulder coming underneath, numbers sewn over the top. Another, the Vezina shot, different one. Okay, this is a celebration shot, which I believe was after the semifinals, so they're on their way to the Stanley Cup Finals, right? Again, round shoulder coming through. You can see it on both players. Number sewn right over the top. Again, hem right here. You can also see, this is a real good shot. So if this was a Rawlings shirt, you'd be able to see the stitching. If it was in the gold or in the white, there is no thread whatsoever. The Rawlings does not put the Rawlings tag on the shoulder until a few years later. It was always down here, and you don't see it. Here is Al Arbour, again from 68-69. As you can see, we zoom in here. There's the round shoulder going down, dipping down, and the numbers sewn right over the top of that shoulder seam. Once again, Rawlings did not do that. Only in Wilson jerseys do you see this. Here's another shot. Terry Crisp. So I'm showing multiple jerseys here. You can tell it's the same kind of photography that was shooting it. Photographer. Here's the seam coming down underneath, and there's the numbers sewn right over the top. Here's a shot against the Canadiens. You can see right down here, round seam going underneath the number. You can see the back side of this one on Plante, and you can kind of see it here. It's not a really good angle on that one. Now we'll go to some of the jerseys. Now, the tagging in 68, 69, 69, 70 were the Wilson tags were virtually the same. So I believe when you're looking at these 2 years, it's kind of hard to tell what's what because the Wilson tag was the same. because the jargon tags were the same. Um, so you could be looking at 2 different years, or they used them for 2 years. It's hard to say. But here is Glenn Hall holding up his jersey that he kept from the year that he won the Vezina. And as you can clearly see, that it's a rounded shoulder, number sewn right over the top. And there's a smaller version of the photo by Dave Stubbs, who did an interview with him. Okay. Action shots from 69-70. Once again, the St. Louis Blues white jerseys, both seasons, did not have numbers on the sleeves, only on the blues. And on the blue jerseys, the numbers were sewn right over the shoulder seam. The shot is from 4-2, April 2nd. This, I believe, was in the playoffs. And you can see, again, rounded shoulder going right underneath the numbers were sewn right over the top. This is another shot that I extracted from the finals versus the Bruins, 69-70. This is Terry Crisp. You can see the round shoulder going down, and it's underneath the numbers. The numbers are sewn right over the top. So this is all the way to the 69-70 finals. You're not going to find this in any Rollins jersey. Here's the finals again. Ernie Wakely's in net. As you can see, round shoulder again, going underneath the numbers right over the top. Same with Noel Picard over here. At this time, I don't think Noel Picard was assistant captain anymore. Here's another good shot of number 2. Again, number going right over the top of that seam. Here's Phil Goyette. He was only on the Blues for 1 year, 69-70. And you can see that the number is sewn right over the top of the shoulder seam, brown cut shoulders. Here is Jimmy Roberts, round shoulders. It says 70-71, but they recycled the jerseys every preseason. Here is Barclay, again, round shoulders. We'll zoom in. Round cut shoulders, numbers sewn right over the top. See it on both sides. Here's the St. Louis Blues team photo. Here's Ernie Wakely, once again. Round shoulder, going right underneath the number. Number sewn right over the top. Here's Glenn Hall. Round shoulder, going right underneath the number sewn right over the top. I believe this photo was taken, they were against the North Stars, and it was from the 68-69 early, and when the Blues hadn't quite put the numbers on the sleeves yet. Here's an interesting photo. Yaroslav Jurek, I believe I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but Yaroslav Jurek played 1 year with the Blues, 69-70. Same as Phil Goyette. Here you go. Round shoulders, going right underneath the numbers sewn right over the top. Now we show you some of the jersey photos. Okay, one of the most interesting jerseys that have come out is the Al Arbour. That was authenticated by Barry Mizell at Migray. There was a white Al Arbor. We'll just read it. We acquired this jersey from a veteran collector in St. Louis, Missouri area who owned this jersey since 1994. According to the collector, he acquired this jersey from the management team of the St. Louis area lounge restaurant named Sports Page. According to the story told, this jersey was given to the lounge by former St. Louis Blues equipment manager Tommy Woodcock after the untimely death of Bob Gassoff, who died from injuries in 1977. The jersey came with a Gassoff nameplate because Gassoff also wore number 3. So basically, the lounge wanted the number 3 jersey with the Gassoff name on the back. Tommy Woodcock takes an Al Arbor shirt and slaps on the Gassoff nameplate and was given to the lounge. Okay. This jersey was worn years earlier by Al Arbor, Barry states, who was the first Blue to wear number 3 and the only Blue to wear number 3 with the captaincy, which is true. You can clearly see the outline of the captaincy on the jersey, which is stated by Barry Mizell. Barry Mizell also goes on to write that the Wilson Giesler Jordan tag is in the collar. There's repairs consistent with tagging and stitching and repairing from the late 60s, early 70s. So we got Barry Mizell authenticating a jersey. And so does Classic Auctions, Mark Joutot. Here is the Arbor itself. It was later sold out of Mile High Card Company auction out of Denver, Colorado. And it had the LOA from Barry still with it. The number 3. It was then, at some point, it ended in the table of Game Worn Auctions. These are photos from Game Worn Auctions. You can see the Wilson Giesler Jordan tag and the collar. And it's embroidered now. I believe 68, 69, 69, 70, the Wilson tags were now embroidered. Some had it where you can write in pencil, and then some had the actual size embroidered over here to the right. As you can see, you still see the dancing players in the Giesler Jorgen tag. Here is a jersey that was sold by Gamer.net. This is a Plager, I believe. Yep, Plager. And then this is an Ecclestone. I did not authenticate this, but was later authenticated from Heritage Auctions as a Kansas City Blues, which was not. This is a home white St. Louis blue. There's a number 26 that came out in the hobby, and this is also a Wilson Giesler Jorgen tag. 26. This high number was used for call-up players, and there's currently no one wearing 26. So I believe it was like kept and used in different preseasons or for a copy call-up player. I have in my possession a Larry Keenan. Note these are the round shoulders with the longer white hem. Wilson tag. The Giesler Jorgen tag had fallen out, but you could clearly see where it was. There's the round shoulders right here. There's the blue thread. Giesler Jorgen tag was right here. You can see it better right here because they were pretty big tags, and it had fallen out over time. Again, round shoulders. Rawlings never did this with the numbers sewn right over the top. And here's the jersey as we speak. I still got it. There's the Plager that Game Worn Auctions had. Again, round shoulders, no numbers on the sleeves. A over here, Wilson Giesler Jorgen tag. Now what's interesting to note is in the write-up, the incredible provenance accompanies this early St. Louis gamer. Our consignor has had this jersey put away dating back to the 70s, when he acquired it directly from former Blues equipment manager Tommy Woodcock, who offered it to him in thanks for service at a team event. Okay, so we got now several jerseys being handed out by Tommy Woodcock, the trainer of the St. Louis Blues, that are Wilson shirts. Now you got to remember, jerseys from the parent league, parent team go down. If they're going to recycle them, they go, most times they go down to the minor leagues. I've never really known the case of any minor league shirts coming back up. All right, 70-71. 70-71, they're wearing Rollins jerseys, but I have photos that prove that they were wearing them in the photo shoot and also the preseason of 70-71. This is Fran Huck. Fran Huck is wearing a Wilson Doreen number 6 Jimmy Roberts with the assistant captain's A in a photo shoot. So that just goes to show you that these jerseys were still lying around in the locker room of the St. Louis Blues during 70-71 when they were taking the press shoots. And here's a better shot. Here is George Morrison, who doesn't come to the team until 70-71. So this is a preseason photo shoot, and he is wearing a block cut shoulder Wilson jersey because it's got the different striping with the numbers on the sleeves. So this is from the finals. George Morrison is wearing it on the ice, skating around in a photo shot. Now the 70-71 jerseys, were finally, Rawlings in 70-71 finally gets their foot in the door even more in the NHL. Because 70-71, the North Stars start wearing Rawlings, and multiple other teams start wearing Rawlings jerseys. Before that, it was really only Wilson and General Athletic Doreen out of Grenville, Ohio. Again, here's the Rawlings in 70-71 has a Rawlings tag. This is a Rawlings wash instruction tag, and note an older Giesler Jorgen tag in the middle. Now, Giesler Jorgen was probably getting rid of some of the older tags, and they would get to the more hyphenated, smaller tag where it would only have the name. I'll show you that here in a second. Here's a rounded shoulder. The Rawlings. Now, the 70-71 sets were found by Brad Foote. I believe the story goes Brad Foote got these from a trainer out east, and they were worn by a high school team, and most of them were hemmed. So number 31. Okay, here's the more hyphenated or the smaller Giesler Jorgen tag. They got rid of the dancing players. Again, it's right in between the Rawlings and the watching instruction tag. This is number 1. Again, the different Giesler Jorgen tag. All these were from the Brad Foote collection and have made their way around the hobby. Now on to the Kansas City Blues. Big part of this authentication was about 10 to 12 years ago. Hirsch Bornstein from Frozen Pawn had an auction, and he got the collection from Dan Wood. And Hirsch didn't do too many auctions, but this one he had a lot of jerseys in it, and he had the collection from Dan Wood. And you're saying, well, who's Dan Wood? Dan Wood, let's see, I think it was 71 too. Dan Wood is right here, and he is the equipment manager trainer for the Kansas City Blues. He had his jacket in there and some jerseys. Now he had two Kansas City Blues jerseys, and here they are. This is a number 2. Again, round shoulder, number sewn over the shoulder seam. It's a Wilson. But note, no Giesler Jorgen tag, and there never was one. It was only, these were lettered up by someone. It wasn't Giesler Jorgen. So there was no, there's not even a remnant. And this is the older Wilson tag, which we only saw in the St. Louis Blues 67-68 finals jerseys. But this is a rounded shoulder. And he had two of them. He had this blue one, number 2, and then the white one. And guess what? The white one, same thing. No Giesler Jorgen tag underneath. None. I believe the Giesler Jorgen tag doesn't show up in a Kansas City Blues jersey until around 71-2, which is right here. But note, it's got the newer tag. Actually, even a more newer tag. This is different than the ones that were in the Rawlings 70-71s. So this is a 71-2. So maybe this is where the story originates. Maybe starting in 70-71, St. Louis goes to Rawlings. The Wilsons are no longer worn, starting 70-71 for the St. Louis Blues. And the Kansas City Blues are still wearing Wilsons. I think that's where this story originated. Somehow it got convoluted that they had a contract, which is clearly not the case. But there you go. The history of the St. Louis Blues that I have done. Again, um, it, I'm not here to change anyone's beliefs, or you know, you can do with what I did whatever you want to do with it. You want to add to it, not add to it, ignore it. I just wanted to present what I had found, and I've proved it through hard photos, um, that Rawlings never made a rounded shoulder with the number sewn right over the top, and I've proven that Wilson did that. And we have jerseys coming from Tommy Woodcock, the St. Louis Blues trainer, that were Wilson jerseys that he was giving these out, and we had an Arbor that was authenticated by Barry Mizell. We had a Red Berenson that came right from Red Berenson that was authenticated by Classic Auctions. So we got some of the top people in the hobby that are authenticating Wilson jerseys that were worn by the St. Louis Blues. You can't ignore that. I mean, do you take it verbatim? No, do the research. And I've done this research, and it proves to me, and I authenticated a jersey incorrectly going just not too long ago, back in '08, and I've changed my story because, again, I don't think anybody actually went through the process of actually researching it. We just all took it verbatim that that story was true and it sounded good. It's because these jerseys weren't coming out. They were, um, I didn't see my first one until 2008. I saw the older ones, the one with the white jersey they had, um, that were worn during the regular season, 67, 68. But I hadn't seen the block cut shoulders with the numbers until I started researching. So once again, um, thanks for watching, and we'll be doing more videos on other teams, or if you got a team that you want me to research, or uh, but thanks for watching. Stay safe during these times, and I wish you the best.